honored and indebted to you for coming, for showing your concern, for wanting to honor Matt, his memory, his legacy, and his belief that we are all equal.
If you close your eyes and open your hearts, Matt is right here.
On October 12th, 1998, my firstborn son and my hero died.
Matthew Shepard was brutally beaten to death by two men 20 years ago. The men were arrested and charged with murder. The killing is described by Shepard's parents, Dennis and Judy, as a hate-motivated murder. Dave O'Malley was the Laramie, Wisconsin sheriff at the time of Matthew's death.
Matt was beaten in the head and the face, struck between 19 and 21 times with the butt end of a .357 Smith & Wesson. Matthew was covered in blood, and the only place where there was no blood where a tear had run down from his eye across his cheek.
Yeah, it was horrific, and so he was dying on a fence for a long time, and beaten by and killed by people who had hate in their hearts and who felt the need to take the life that offended them. He lingered, from what we're told, for quite some time, and yet we also learned that the officer who first found him saw a deer sitting next to him, a deer that had apparently been there for quite some time, and some would say that was the Spirit of God waiting there with Matthew, and others would say it was just a deer. Either way, something was present with him in his last hours.
Marion Knauer is the rector of Grace Episcopal Church of Nelson County. She was among the small crowd gathered at the LGBT Tech office in Staunton on Friday. They were there to watch and take part in the live stream of Matthew Shepard's National Memorial Service in Washington, D.C.
I'm here really to just be a part of the service that was being live streamed from Washington National Cathedral. Wish I could have been at the cathedral, but this was second best, so it's great to be here with a group to celebrate his life and to watch him being honored in a way that he hadn't been honored for the 20 years that he has been gone from us.
She shared with me what she knew about Matthew.
I think I know most about is his spirit, and that his gentleness, his honesty about who he was and still is in the mind of God, a sense of a person who loved life and yet had it taken from him too soon, and who came from a family that still cherishes him. So that's what I know about him.
Emily Sproul is the interim director of the Shenandoah LGBTQ Center.
I think it was a really beautiful opportunity for us to share in remembering Matthew. Many of us, even if we didn't know him, hold a special place in our hearts for him. I remember hearing of his death. He's the same age that I am, and I thought a lot today during the service about what he might be doing had he lived, and all the joy and the love that he would have spread through this world. But I know that thanks to his family and their generosity, that his legacy continues to spread that love.
Previously, the Shepards were in Staunton to show their support for 6th District Democratic congressional candidate Jennifer Lewis. I got a chance to talk with them about their son's legacy.
We started a foundation in Matt's name to try to raise awareness about issues of violence and discrimination facing the gay community in the country and actually in the world. And that's what we're still doing 20 years later.
It is Matthew Shepard's foundation that continues to assist the plights of the gay community, including Michaela Harmon.
I'm part of the LGBT community. I first heard Matthew Shepard's story with the theater production, The Laramie Project. It was a work that really meant a lot to me personally, hearing it growing up, and his story is an incredibly powerful one.
She shared with me how she felt watching Matthew's memorial service.
It felt just is the word that comes into my mind, that Matthew Shepard finally gets a resting place where him and his family don't have to worry about his remains being disturbed. And that was something that was just incredibly powerful and hopeful. So I was crying, but it wasn't tears like that.
In Staunton, Elaine Rackley for Breaking Through News.